primary school. So in the previous videos we are just going through the chapter number 6, that is changes around us. Okay students, in that we have just studied the reversible change, irreversible change, physical change, chemical change. This all thing we have studied, and we have just reached to the let's answer. We have just completed now expansion and contraction of the materials. What is expansion and what is contraction of the materials? Let us see that. Expansion and contraction of material. So in that we know that there are how many types of materials. First, it would be in the state, that is solid, liquid and gas. So the material can be in three states: solid, liquid and gas. So let us see one by one. See here, first of all, expansion in solids is there. So first of all we will see expansion in solids. So here in your textbook you can see the picture that rail lines are there in the picture. In between the two rail lines a gap, this much gap is there. Why it is there? Because iron, when the iron is heated, it just expand. So what happened in the summer season? The rail lines just get heat. Why? Because it is in the open air and it is direct to the sun. So it will expand. So if it will just attach it with no space, then the rail line will just be like this. If I say that from one rail line to the another, there is a gap between, this much gap is there. But in here we will just draw bigger, so you can just see it properly. See here, I think this much gap I take, then you can see it clearly. So this much gap is there. Why it is there? Between the two rail lines. I am just drawing this over here also. So if the gap will not there over here, then what will happen? So due to the heat in the summer, this rail just expand. From here also it will expand. From here this side it will expand, and from this side also it will expand. So if they are like near means this much near, if they are there, then what will happen? Only this much space is there. This will also expand and this will also expand. This will also expand and this will also expand. So what will happen? There will be a crack, or the rail line will just bend. Due to the expansion, the rail line will just bend, or it will have a crack in it. Let us see that. See here, heating causes most thing to expand, while cooling causes most thing to shrink or contract. The amount of the expansion varies in solid, liquid and gases. Expansion is the maximum in gases, less in liquid, and is least in the solid. Expansion in solids. Railway tracks consist of parallel metal rails. Small gaps are left in the metal rails, which are called expansion joints. So, the gap between this gap is known as, what it is known as? The gap is expansion joints. Expansion joints. So this gap is known as expansion joint. This allows space for expansion of the rails in the hot weather, thus preventing a crack. Sometimes, when the metal lid of a jam jar doesn't open easily, we run it under hot water. This is because the metal lid absorbs the heat from hot water and expand and thus loosen from the jam. So here, when a jar is jammed, then what in home are do that they will just uh, throw a just hot water in that, so it will just expand and the jar will easily open. Next is expansion in liquid. So this you have seen at your home, I think, or at the hospital. So when you have a fever, then you have seen the thermometer. In that you have seen a liquid. Which liquid? That is mercury, that is Hg. That liquid, we know that to measure our fever, a thermometer device is used to measure our fever, that how much degree is there. Okay, so they have just adjust a mercury like that, so you can just measure your body temperature in it. Okay students, you can just measure your body temperature in it. So what happen, you just put the thermometer in the mouth. So if you have fever, the liquid which is, sorry, I am just drawing the first of all the thermometer over here. So this is thermometer and here the mercury is filled over here. So when you just keep this in your mouth, then mercury will get heat. Okay, mercury will get heat. So due to this heat, these mercury will move forward, and up till when it is what, it have some specific, our body have some specific temperature. After that it will not just come. Okay students, so this in the liquid we can take the example of mercury, that it can be expand. Okay, see here I am just reading that water expand on heating. Take a glass filled with water till brim and then therefore transfer the water to a metal pan and heat it. Pour the hot water back to the same glass. The water would overflow. Why do you think it happened? Mercury in thermometers is used to measure temperature upon absorbing body heat. Mercury in the bulb of the thermometer expands and rises along the mercury column, indicates the temperature. So here you have, I have just explained, that is written over here. So what is written, I am just explaining it again. First of all, solids. So the solid expand, it expands minimum, sorry, least. The solid expands least, then this liquid expands minimum. Okay, minimum, and the gases expands maximum. Okay, this expands maximum. So in that solid, we have seen the railway lines or railway tracks. In that, between the metal plates, there is a gap between that, and that is known as expansion joints. Okay, so this is due to what, when in the summer season the heat is just directly come to this metal rods, so it will expand, just more, only up to 2 to 3 centimeter, not more than that. Okay students, and moving forward, here liquid, we have seen the liquid. Here we have taken the example of thermometer. So when we just put the thermometer in the mouth, when we have fever, then the mercury will expand. Okay, mercury will expand and move over here. So what will happen, we can just find out the body temperature of our body. Okay, now moving towards gas, we know that it expands more. It expands more. Let us see that. See here in your textbook, expansion in gases. Air expands on heating. An inflated balloon kept in the sun will grow in size because the air inside it expands. Solid, liquid, and gases contract on cooling. The amount of contraction is maximum in gases, less in liquid, and is least in solid. So here, expansion in gases. So air expands on heating. Air will expand on heating. So an inflated balloon kept in the sun will grow in size because the air inside it will expand. If you will just take a balloon, okay, and you just fill the air in it and keep in front of the sun, then it will expand. Why? Because the air inside it will expand due to the heat. Okay students, now moving forward, solid, liquid, and gases contract on cooling. The amount of contraction is minimum in gases, less in liquid, and is least in solid. Okay, here we have just completed the this chapter and there is an activity. So in that we have now just studied about the expansion, but in last two lines they have talked about the contraction. So contraction is also maximum in gas, minimum in liquid, and least in the solid. So what is contraction? First of all students, the we know the expansion means due to the heat it will expand, and due to the this, when the heat is taken it will come to the back to its state. Okay, and when the winter starts, then the rail will just half or 1 centimeter, it will just its length will decrease. Okay, in thermometer also we know that if the thermometer is at only room temperature, that is 25 to 27 degree Celsius. Okay students, even more also, but I am just talking about the general temperature. So it will be there only. If we cool and we just go to the Himachal or in the Jammu Kashmir, then this will come down, down, and down. Okay students, now in the gas, as we cool it, it will compress. Okay, the gas will compressed. So here we have just completed the chapter and there is an activity over here. Let us see that activity. See here, to observe the effect of cooling on air. So we will just see that how, what effects on the air if we cool it. So a balloon, rubber bands, measuring tape, and a refrigerator. Blow up a balloon and seal it tightly with a rubber band. Measure the diameter of the balloon using a measuring tape. Place the balloon in the freezer for 20 minutes. Take out the balloon from the freezer and measure it again. Record your observation. So, what they are just telling us that first of all, blow a balloon, fill the air in it, and then after put, just lock it with the rubber band, and then after put in the freezer for 20 minutes. So then after you just first of all, what you have to do, we have to fill air in the balloon and then after measure the diameter. After putting the rubber band in it, then after putting this balloon in the freezer, and then after taking back and just seeing the diameter again with it, then you can see that it is contracted. It is contracted. Why? Because it is cooled. Okay, now moving forward, Here we have completed this chapter, and in this lecture we will just discuss the MCQ of it. Okay students, let us discuss the MCQ of this chapter. First of all, you just try up till just I am just rubbing the board. You just try by your own all the MCQs which are there in the exercise, textual exercise. So here the first one, exercise question 1, that is MCQ. Okay students, so that is, which of the following is an irreversible change? Which change is irreversible? That is melting of an ice cream, freezing of an ice cream, boiling of an water, or burning of a paper. So I will say in the first, the answer will be burning of paper. Burning of paper. Second one, which of this is a reversible change? Contraction in metal, baking of a cake, ripen of a fruit, blooming of a flower. So in that it will be the second one, contraction in metal. Contraction in metal. Third one, that is burning of candle wax, is an example of physical change, chemical change, irreversible change, or D, both A and C. So in third, it will be physical and chemical change. That is D, both A and C. Okay. Fourth one, what new materials are formed when a candle burns? So water vapor and carbon dioxide, ash or oxygen. So in the fourth one, it will be water vapor and carbon dioxide. Okay students, water vapor and carbon dioxide. So here we have seen the MCQs and the another questions that you have to find out the answers of that in your homework. Okay, question B, C and D, find out the answers. Okay, and we will meet in the next video, and first of all solve this question B, C and D. Okay students, bye students, we will meet in the next video.